You're on Zillow again. You told yourself you were just going to check what's out there, and now it's 11:43 p.m. You've zoomed in on your city, you slid the little price filter up to $500,000, and you're scrolling through photos like you're online shopping for a life. Open concept kitchen? Check. Quartz counters? Obviously. Nice yard, maybe a home office, decent schools. And every time you find one that looks even close to what you want, there's that little number underneath. Estimated payment, $3,500 MO. Estimated payment, $3,900 MO. And your brain does this wild emotional gymnastics. First, it's, I could make that work. Then it's, if I just got one more raise. Then it's, everyone else is buying at these prices, I must just need to push harder. My name's Mark, and I spend way too much time thinking about that exact moment when the housing market, social pressure, and your very understandable desire for a nice home all collide, and somehow the conclusion is, I've got to stretch myself to afford a $500,000 house. What I want to do with you in this video is pull on that thread a bit, because the surprising shift is this. For a ton of people, the smartest move right now is to stop trying to force a $500,000 house into your life and do something much more powerful instead. If you actually lean into this, if you let go of the specific sticker price and design from a different starting point, it can change how stressed you are, how fast you build wealth, and how much you actually like your life once you're in a home. So let's talk through that together in, real human language. The 500K house is a marketing number, not a life number. Somewhere along the way, $500,000 became the default mental target. Decent starter homes are about 500K. Everyone I know is shopping in the 450 to 600K range. That's just what houses cost now. But that $500,000 is not sacred. It's not written in the Constitution. It's the combination of local comps, low interest rates we used to have, and a whole lot of keep up with what everyone else is doing. It's a marketing number. Your bank and the realtor and the listings all talk to you in purchase price because it sounds normal and abstract enough that you don't flinch. But your life does not care about the listing price. Your life cares about the monthly drag, the stress level, and what it crowds out. So instead of asking, can I qualify for a 500K house? The more important question is, what kind of housing payment can I live with and still have a life? That one little shift takes you from stretching for a number on a website to designing something that actually fits you. Start with a payment you can breathe with. Let's get super practical for a second. There's a rough rule of thumb a lot of planners like. Keep housing, mortgage plus taxes plus insurance and maybe HOA, to around 25 to 30% of your take-home pay, not your gross. Your actual after-tax shows up in your checking account money. Let's say, as a household, you're bringing home $6,000 a month after taxes. 25% of that is $1,500. 30% is $1,800. That's the range where you can pay for actual life, save for the future, and not feel like you're suffocating every single month. Now compare that to what a 500K house often looks like in 2024, 2025-ish rates. Mortgage plus interest plus taxes plus insurance plus PMI or HOA, totally normal to see $3,000 to $3,800 per month all in. If you're bringing home $6K and your housing is $3,200, you're spending over 50% of take-home just to live in the building. That's not adulting, that's being house poor. Why this matters? If you design your life around, I just need to be able to say I own a $500,000 house, you will almost certainly crush your other goals. Emergency fund, retirement savings, trips, fixing the car without crying. A way better starting point is, what payment lets me breathe and still save at least 15 to 20% of my income? Then back into the house price using a mortgage calculator. It's less glamorous than scrolling 500K listings, but it's much kinder to actual you. Design your life first, then your house.
Here's a question almost no one asks before they start house shopping. What do I want my life to look like day to day? Not just granite or quartz, how many bathrooms, open concept versus separate rooms. I mean things like, do I want the option to work less or take a lower paying job I like more? Do I care more about travel than square footage? Do I actually like going out and enjoying my city, or am I happy at home 90% of the time? How important is it to be near family, community, nature, etc.? I know a couple who decided we want time with our kids and margin in our schedule more than we want a huge place. So instead of stretching to the $550K dream house, they bought a $360K smaller home 20 minutes further out. Their payment is lower, they both work slightly less insane hours, they still have a yard, a guest room, and a kitchen they actually like. Does anyone on Instagram care about their zip code? No. Do they? Not really. Their metric is, can we eat dinner together most nights and take a couple of trips a year?
When you start with life design, the "do I need a 500K house" question often melts into what kind of home supports the life I care about at a price that doesn't choke me. Cheaper house, different area, or different timeline. This is the part where the algorithm might get mad at me, but being honest, if the numbers on 500K make your stomach hurt, you have three main levers. 1. Cheaper house in the same area. Smaller place, townhouse or condo instead of detached. Less perfect, more good enough for this season. 2. Similar house in a cheaper area. 10 to 30 minutes further out. Different side of town. Different city entirely. 3. Same dream, different timeline. Keep renting strategically, save aggressively for a few years, buy later with a bigger down payment and lower stress. We treat renting like some moral failure, but renting cheap and on purpose while you build an emergency fund, clean up high-interest debt, increase your income, can put you in a much better position than stretching for a house you secretly can't afford. It's not throwing money away. It's paying for flexibility while you get your foundations right. Build the foundation before you pour concrete. Think of your finances like a house. If the foundation is cracked, no savings, high-interest debt, unstable income, it doesn't matter how pretty the kitchen is, the whole thing is fragile. Before you throw yourself into a 500K mortgage, ask, do I have 3 to 6 months of living expenses in cash? Have I knocked out or at least controlled high-interest debt, credit cards, personal loans? Is my income reasonably stable, or am I one bad month away from panic? Am I currently saving something for retirement? Because a 500K house doesn't fix those problems, it amplifies them. Honestly, one of the highest ROI moves you can make is rent a place that's a bit below what you could technically afford, go a little harder on paying off nasty 20% cards, build that boring emergency fund, then revisit the house question with way more power. You'll walk into those showings feeling confident, not desperate. What to do instead of obsessing over 500K listings? Okay, so if the advice is stop trying to contort your life around a $500,000 house, what do you actually do? A few very unsexy, very effective steps. 1. Figure out your breathing room payment. Look at your take-home pay, decide what 25 to 30% of that is. That's your max housing cost, including taxes and insurance and HOA. 2. Reverse engineer price from that payment. Use a simple online mortgage calculator, plug in interest rates, taxes in your area, etc., and ask what home price fits this payment instead of forcing 500K. 3. Clarify your non-negotiables. Maybe you really need a home office. Maybe you need to be within 20 minutes of aging parents. Maybe school district matters. Maybe it doesn't. Know those before you scroll. 4. Pick a season. Is this your foundation season, rent and save and clean debt? Your starter home season, buy less than you can afford? Or are you actually in the forever home season and you've earned that? Each season has a different right move. There isn't one correct answer for everyone. Wrapping this up, Stop trying to afford a 500K house isn't me telling you to shrink your dreams. It's me saying, don't let a random round number, shaped by your zip code and a wild housing market, bully you into a 30-year commitment that steals your peace. Don't confuse what the bank will lend with what lets you build a good life. Don't let granite countertops today cost you flexibility, family time, and financial freedom for the next decade. Instead, start with the life you want. Decide what payment lets you breathe and still save. Choose a house or a season of renting that supports that. If you're currently doom-scrolling 500K listings and trying to talk yourself into them, maybe take a pause after this. Open a notebook or notes app, write down your take-home pay, what 25 to 30% of that is, and what you're actually willing to trade for a house. Ask yourself honestly, would a cheaper house, different area, or different timeline actually make my life better, not worse? Future you doesn't care whether the Zillow listing once said $499,900 or $379,000. Future you cares about whether you can sleep at night, take a vacation without panic, and live in a home that supports your life instead of owning you. That's the goal.